Hi, this is a quick video to help you go through the process of hypothesis testing without using a calculator. So to not use a calculator, another good alternative is to use StatCrunch. To find StatCrunch, go to your My Math Lab directly, not from Canvas. Here you'll see that little toolbar on the side and click StatCrunch. From there, choose the second option that reads Visit StatCrunch website. Then choose Open StatCrunch. From here, you can do all of your hypothesis testing problems. So I'm referring back to your test 3 review, and I'm starting at the questions that deal with hypothesis testing. All right, so if we wish to do hypothesis testing, first example is with standard deviation, population standard deviation, your sigma known. So for this first type where your population standard deviation is known, our command will be zstat. So we go to stat, go to zstats. We're working with one sample. All of our problems are with one sample. Because we don't have raw data, we go with the option that reads with summary. You click, and then you go ahead and fill it out. You fill it out just as you would the information given from the side. So we see that we have a mean of an X bar. It's supposed to be 133 after reading the question. I wrote down 135 by mistake. So 133. Our standard deviation, our sigma is 3.3, and our sample size, our n, is 32. Now we still have to go through the process of developing our null hypothesis and our alternative. So we have an alternative hypothesis of mu less than 135. So we're going to write 135, and we're going to choose less than. All right, now we have to change our confidence. Because our alpha is 0.10, we're going to subtract 1 minus 0.10, so that gives us 0.90. So we change our confidence to 0.90. All right, let's go back to hypothesis, and you want to click your enter button. If you choose compute, it gives you what I believe is your confidence interval. So we want to go ahead and choose compute. I'm sorry, just click the enter button on your calculator. All right, now this gives us what we want. We want the p-value here. So we're going to compare our p-value to our alpha, just as we see here. It's always p-value and alpha. If it's less or equal to, then you reject. If it's greater than, then you fail to reject. Now here we see that we have a p-value of 0.0003. So we compare our p, which is 0.00, to our alpha, which is 0.10, and it's less than. Because it's less than, we go ahead and we reject. Now our next example is, what if our population standard deviation is unknown? The main difference is that you don't have that word population, right? Okay, so from here, we have a different type of command we need to work with. When our standard deviation, when our population, our sigma, is unknown, we're going to use t-stats. So we go to t-stats, one sample with summary, and we fill out all of our information. So we have a mean, an X bar of 20,640, a standard deviation of 1990, a sample size of 22, and here we see that we have a claim of alternative claim of not equal to 20,000. So we're going to make sure we have not equal to, and we want to enter 20,000. 20, 1, 2, 3. And our confidence interval, well, 1 minus 0.05, we get 0.95, so that's good. Okay, let's go ahead and find our hypothesis summary. Go ahead and press your enter button, and we have a p-value. Our p-value is 1.463. You want to compare it to our alpha of 0.05, so round to 2 decimal places. That gives us 0.15. So we compare P to our alpha, P15 and 0.05. Well, 15 cents is more than 5 cents, right? So we have greater than. Because it's greater than, we fail to reject. Now, if we have a proportion, we're going to use a different command. So we're going to go to our next example. And next we want to, when we're working with proportions, we go with proportion stats. One sample with summary. All right. Now here I want to enter our successes, observations, and then our hypothesis information. Now, if you're not given your x and your n, so first would be your x and then your n. If you're given a proportion, a decimal, or a percent, make sure you go through the trouble of changing it to a fraction. All right, so here we see that our number of successes is 225, and our observations, our trials, is 250. So we have 225, 250, and we see that we have an alpha of 0.05, and our ha is not equal to. So not equal to, and because it's 0.05, this will be 195. Now here, for our hypothesis testing, we're comparing it to an alternative of 85. We got this 85 from dividing these two, and really it's 0.85. If you're using a calculator, it's not really picky up with the decimal place, but StatCrunch is. So make sure we enter 0.0 or just 0.85. That's what we want to look at. Okay, make sure you press your enter button. And what we want is the p-value. So we have a p-value of 0.0268, but we're comparing it with the alpha is only 2 decimal places. So let's round to 2 decimal places. This will give us 0.03. So we have a p of 0.03, an alpha of 0.05, and 3 cents is less than 5 cents, right? So we would say it's less than, thus we reject. So these are the 3 different types of hypothesis questions that you will see, and this is how you can tackle them using StatCrunch. Thanks.